put a price on us more.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome for tonight's round number 11. We are at Paul Ricard. We are in France, and we are at the possible checkmate in the championship. Welcome to the Pro Series. I'm Chris Romano, and I'll be your voice for this very race. 8 o'clock CET, so qualifying is about to start. Let's have a look at the standings, because the situation is interesting to say the least. This is not the standings that I wanted to show you. Apologies. These are, yeah, right better. In the GT3, Casorino is with a lot of points, 10,948 points. Sam Gaskell just follows behind with Philip Minar in third place. Shai O'Sullivan and Adrian Walsingham follow in 4th and 5th, with Eric Delfante, Fabrizio Campanella, Grantas Carregas, Sasha Wasner and Michael Fasi in the top 10. I made it in the quickest possible way. But why did I say we are the checkmate? Because look at this. This is the situation in the championship. Amedeo Castellino has to get third place to win the championship. Meanwhile, Sam Gaskell, just to be in it alive and to win it, he will have to go through the last two races, win them, and also have Castorino not being better than P4 in both situations. So it's a bit, let's say, difficult for the British driver at the moment behind the Italian. In terms of teams, we have Veloce against 255 competitions. And it's going to be interesting, because the Nissan GTR is certainly going to be there, and in an interesting way. Let me just grab my code, otherwise I can't join the session, and makes it difficult. This is not the speed I wanted. I'm trying to be quick, but I have to copy two different things, and okay, I'm on it. Anyway, if you have any complaint about the current audio, just let me know, because I physically can't know if the audio is perfect or not. Just let me get ACC TV on racetrack, give me the broadcast. Should be the correct one. Yeah, okay, it works. It works perfectly. Now I can go back to the standings and to talk to you about the racetrack, because we are, as I said, Paul Ricard. Why is this track famous? Well, it is extremely famous in the GT world rather than the Formula 1 world. Open wheel races here, but especially in the FRECA and the various Formula in the feeder series. Formula 1 doesn't run anymore in this track. It's also extremely important for testing many hypercars, GT3s, GT4s. If I remember correctly, the Formula 2 has been tested in Silverstone, but the Formula 3 has been tested here, maybe? I don't remember. There was a mule car of a supposed to be TCR from Audi some couple of years ago, and also obviously weather compliant tires, such as the wet tires from Pirelli for Formula 1 has been tested here. Many tests have been run in this very track, especially thanks to its its whole lot of configurations, because I think it's around 156, if I remember correctly, the number of configurations that this track gives you. And so this means that you can effectively look in the background. There are roughly 400 lines in this chicane, which ironically we will not even consider, considering there is the whole straight that will cut across that very chicane. So yeah, testing track, and also it was the starting round in the GT World Challenge Europe with 1,000 kilometers for Ricard. And I think from this season it's not anymore, if I remember correctly. This season the GT World Challenge Europe doesn't start from here with 1,000 kilometers. It's still 3 minutes to go into the free practice, and then we will get into the qualifying for our hour of racing in the French racetrack. It's not an hour and a half. An hour and a half will be in the very next chapter of this championship. Last round will be an hour and a half, and John Wright will be the voice for that moment. But back at Paul Ricard, I just have the list of all the events that currently are held here. Okay, no, it's still in... Okay, my mistake. It's still the beginning round of the GT World Challenge Europe. But I forgot, obviously, the most important one. LMS with a 4-hour Castellet, GT World Challenge Europe with, as I said, 1,000 kilometers, which is the very first round. The EWC, which is the motorbike championship in endurance, the Ferrari Challenge Europe, and the FFSA GT, which is like a GT4 for a better name. Here, Formula 1 raced in a lot of occasions for a total of 30 years until 2022. We also had the Motorsport Games and the World Touring Car Championship, which is not really alive at the moment. The whole championship unfortunately died a lot of time ago. Also, the current layout we are using is the one V2, 5.7 kilometers long and 13 turns, compared to the one being used from Formula 1, which is the 1C V2 with 15 turns, 5.8 kilometers, which is effectively just the chicane being added on that very point. Yeah, this track is old, 54 years old, lot of history, and unfortunately with downscaling in terms of how much championships are being held there. And I honestly don't think we'll see the F1 back in Paul Ricard, especially because also there is the Belgium Grand Prix, which is being held in rotation, which is not a thing that I like, because European tracks are good, although Paul Ricard was pretty boring in certain occasions, but that's simply because the F1 cars are not really built for this track. Meanwhile, the championship is still going on, but I will just refresh to give you a better look at the very top. If you do refresh, thank you a lot. So look at this, Manito Castorino is ahead by 300 points, and this is your top 15. You can also see weeks counted. Many drivers are not counting all the weeks. Grantas Caracas is the better driver with fewer rounds, 7 rounds out of 8 and he's still in 7th place. So clearly he has the pace and maybe we will see a possible win for our driver. Who is in 7th. Also I saw someone with 5 rounds being in top 30, such as Leo Bernat here, for example, is in 41st with only 5 rounds being counted out of 8. But we are seconds away from the start of qualifying, as I'm waiting for the car number 26 to cross the line. That's Artem Hageman, 15th in free practice, but we completely useless to say their current placement. Free practice. Anyway, we are here. So my tower is working, but was maybe too quick on the gun. Yeah, way better. So as you can see on the left hand side on the tower, we have, well, currently nothing. That's because the tower is set on rotation, and currently the session best relative is being accounted, and the manufacturer and the nation will be rotating on your left hand side. But just let me reset the cycle, because I fear that it's glitched. I really fear that it is glitched. Anyway, we can have a look on the onboard of Sam Gaskell, our currently second place holder, but who knows, maybe he finishes in first and Casorino doesn't finish in the podium, or maybe we will see Sam Gaskell last in lap 1, who knows. You will see here in the low fuel motorsport channel. Here in the right hand side, quite quick, and then a little hairpin, which is honestly awful. I really hate Busset. I took a while to read the name, I'm not really good in French. And then into Bender, turn 11, to then get into Village and Latour with Virage to Point, which is turn 14, but obviously this is just an outlap, not really useful in terms of full speed. So we go into turn 1 and 2. And to turn 3, just braking behind the 100 meters bollard, and then into this right-hander, which is extremely tight. As we are into Saint Burn. I know I butchered the pronunciation. Apologies to all the French listeners. And then Le Col into the Mistral Straight. We tend to use everything on the curb on the outside. Mistral Straight, which is nearly 2 kilometers long. Then heavy braking into the right-hander. Just behind the curb, or just in front, if you really want to be late. Oh, very close to the edge of the curbing. Now we go into the double droid de Bussat, into Virage de Bendo. We're taking the inner line. Very wide entry to get very close to the edges of the racetrack. Those little markers on the outside were the limit. It's not really the white line, it's those barboards that are set on the outside. And into Virage du Pont, which is the last corner. Then into the main straight. And Sam Gaskell will be our first driver to cross the line and to set a not valid lap time. It was a 52.1, but it didn't tell me it was a not valid lap. Eric Delfant is now in the lead, win 152.027. Apologies, I thought it was a white. Yeah, it's still marked as white. So I apologize, but I simply couldn't know. So yeah, the tower is working. Fantastic stuff. Usually it doesn't. I'm really happy about this. Philip Minar is currently in second place. Sasha Wasner for LFM Motorsport is in third in the Bentley. And Chris Hartwell just steals the third place in class for Scuderia Ferrari HP Sports team. Now Eric Lefante is still improving in the Honda for the Italian job. Car number 6. Little reminder that the numbers mean something. These numbers are representing their strength compared to the field. So Eric Lefante currently 6th strongest is in first, but Chris Hartwell currently 25th, being categorized as 25th, is in third in his Ferrari. And I just saw Samir Porsche going in 7th place for LFM content creator, with a very stickery livery, let's say. A lot of stickers. I think he bought the entire stock and placed them on the racetrack, or on the race car, on the race car. It's still not the, it still isn't the 24 hour of North Life. By the way, they repaired it, so be sure to put graffitis on tarmac because they are just fantastic. Sam Gaskell goes on the lead, 151.8. He's the first driver to get under the 52, and Philip Minar keeps third place. Chris Hartfeld is now in 5th after Luke Whitehead jumps his teammate to get position better. And Grant Caracas from nowhere, he gets into pole, 151.7. Currently 3 drivers only into the 51s. Now Sam Gaskell is in second, but more importantly, the Veloce driver, Veloce Trustmasters in the Nissan, is currently just 8th. Can he improve on this lap? Current Delta says no, he currently isn't improving. So possibly a slow lap for the GT3 driver, unless my race control is lying. But it is currently showing a huge loss, 2 seconds at the moment. Philip Minar is improving, 0.2 seconds, but at the moment those 2 temps will be enough to get the car in second place. Grant Caracas is currently in the pits, as Cametti gets 22nd place in the Mustang. He represented Philip Minar. Currently, he could get into pole. The Mustang GT3 driver for 255 competitions is quite quick and could realistically get the car in pole, which would create sort of help for Sam Gaskell, which currently sits in second place. Like a number 5 now onto the final corner. That's over the line to get the pole position, 151.697. 53 milliseconds only in front of Minar, and never mind what I said, because Luke Whitehead gets pole position, 51.662. Just less than half time, for 35 milliseconds to be exact, in front of Minar. Then Carcas, Gaskell, Delfante, Hartwell, Wasner, Castorino sitting in 8th place. And let's get into another driver. I can get into the 27 as Miguel Silverio for International Racing Team on the Bentley. Jumps a couple of places and gets 22nd place in the standings at the moment. Eric Delfante goes over the line, but this lap will not be a valid one, as he now starts his final lap. Johnny Moorhouse goes across the line, and it's not an improvement. Naxar Ramune is a bit behind schedule, but he's not on a fast lap, which is the opposite on Dian Zunabovic, Fisher Racing Esports Bentley number 12, on the Mistral straight, with a speed of 260 km per hour, about to get into 270 if the downforce permits so. 230, just enough into the 230s. And then into the double right-hander. You can see the whole track being blue. Oh, Zaramovic, I think he just went wide. Yeah, he just went wide and gave up on his attempt. So he will not score any improvement. Now we are with the Nissan driver. Going over the Mistral straight. It doesn't seem to be improving. Sasha Fasner is improving and the car will get into... maybe not. It's just a little improvement. Yes, it is enough to get at least one place. Sasha Fasner gets into 7th place in the Ferrari number 7. As O'Sullivan gets the very same place, now 7th, 450 milliseconds off the 51.6 being scored early on. In a single second, we currently have 14 drivers. Ramonet is the first one out, the second with a 56.9. Wait, 52.7, apologies. I was reading the last attempt. 52.7 for Ramonet. As Castellino goes across the line. And it will be an improvement. 7th place at the moment for the Nissan driver. Battling for the championship. As Del Fante in the other Honda. The other Italian in the Honda. Rather. Because there isn't another Honda, at least from what I do remember. Also, interesting fact, Ramonet and Vella currently have the very same exact lap time, 52.700. But Ramonet scored it earlier than Vella, so he will be ahead of his opponent. 51.6 still remains the lap to beat for these drivers, and only 6 cars managed to get below the 52. Now, can Del Fante get into pole? Lap time is good. He is improving. He is maybe improving just enough to get into the 51.6, currently being held by Whitehead. As he goes across the line, and he gets second, 51.670, only 8 milliseconds behind. But it's not over yet. At the top of the field, Minar is also improving. Gaskell is also improving. And Riley is improving, but not enough to get into pole at the moment. As Alfante goes into the pits, so that's possibly qualifying over, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. He just has 30 something seconds to get back on his wheels. As a Mustang driver on the double right-hander. And Alfante is still not going out. He just exits the pit with only 2 minutes to go. Very close to the outside part, but the South African driver currently maintains the lap within limits. That's what race control tells me. As he goes across the line, and he doesn't improve, or rather, he does improve, but he doesn't improve his own position. 51.687, barely behind Whitehead, 25 milliseconds only. In a single time, we've got 5 cars. That's pretty exceptional. The 41 is currently sitting in the outer part of the racetrack and will not go for another lap. Axel Ramonet is about to get into 3rd sector over the double right-hander, as Shea O'Sullivan goes back into the pits. 8th place for the car number 8. As he goes over curb du Garban into Virage de la Tour, and then Virage du Pont. I'm trying to improve my pronunciation, but not really sure how good it probably is awful. I'm perfectly aware of that. Axel Ramone now into 12th place. Good improvement for the Frenchman in the upright Ferrari, and Castorino will try something. No, he doesn't, because he went off track. So Castorino will, at best, start in 7th. But Whitehead is still not over with it. He is in pole, and he is still improving. 1/10 gained in the very first sector. That tail could help with the Mustang number 21. Currently in 25th place and not improving. Helping massively the driver already in 1st place. Sam Gaskel starts for now in 4th place. He will not improve as he goes into the pits. Alexander Kruk is also improving in the car number 15. It is behind on the lap. Can the car number 2 improve even more the already great 51.662? And the Whitehead goes over the line to not to improve, but just to maintain the lead. 51.672, 10 milliseconds only behind himself. As the last few cars are about to cross the line, Alexander Koruk will be the first of the two improving, as number 6 is also about to complete the lap. And the Ferrari goes straight into the pits, and Jonathan Riley in 10th place at the moment goes in 7th. Number 18, Ferrari now in 7th place for Scuderia Ferrari HP Esports team. So now we are 4 minutes. 4 minutes into the formation lap. I will just wait a couple of seconds to get the qualifying results in, and then we will go into the grid to get a preview of our 31 drivers. Honda and Ferrari, the very lead of the pack at the moment. Let's see if the grid works, though I'm not sure. Let's see. No, it still doesn't. Let me do... okay, yes, it does work now. Luke Whitehead will start at the very top of the field for Scuderia Ferrari HP. Then Eric Del Fante behind for the Italian job, 51.670 in the car number 6. Philippe Minard, unfortunately, in the Mustang, so it becomes difficult to see the car, but Pepe competitions by go setups just in front of their teammate, battling for the championship, Sam Gaskel, in the car number 1. Grandes Caricas will start in the Ferrari for Visceral Esports with 412 starts, and Chris Hartwell just behind in the other Ferrari with the car number 25, and less than 10% of Caricas starts. Jonathan Riley will start in 7th place with a very late maneuver into that very 7th place. The Italian currently leading the championship, 8th place for the car number 3. Shea O'Sullivan in 8th place, in the car number 8, in 9th place, with a 52.112, and Sasha Fassner will complete our top 10. That's Bentley number 7 for you. Samir Forsch will start in car number 10, with 2,167 stars. Axel Ramone in the car number 9, 12th place for the Frenchman. Dynamic Porsche with Michael Frey driving for them. It's car number 11 you're looking at. 14th place, that's Anders Amundsen. The Norwegian will start for West Competition Racing, the car number 19, just in front of 15th placed car Dean Zunabovic, the Swiss driver, will start for Fischer Racing Esports in 15th, just in front of Dean Vella for Intercomp VMD Simsport with a 152.6. Omar Escorcha, the Colombian, will start in the car number 16, 17th place, with Fabien Gulot for BF Racing. In the car number 30, Matteo Piccolo, the Frenchman, will start in the car number 13 for RSGT per P1CE, and Dustin Harpel, the German, will start in the car number 17 with a 152.7. Lorenz Van Rossem, the Belgian, will start for Unicorn Racing in the Ferrari number 14 in 21st place. 22nd place for Johnny Moorhouse, the Scottish driver, will start in the car number 28 with a 152.955. Outside of the 52 is Alexander Krook, and Miguel Siverio will start in 24th place in the car number 27. The Bentley will be just ahead of Jordan Cametti. As the Frenchman for Team JB17 Motorsport will start in the car number 21. 26th place for Fischer Racing Mercedes MG, the Academy team, with a 153.3, that's Basti Winkler. Artem Hagman, Carbon Motorsport, car number 26, in the very visible BMW. It's a bit difficult to not see the lime there. Alexander Gillo will start for Top Racing TV in the car number 22. Michael Humer, the Austrian, will start for HWR Racing in the car number 29, 29th place, and Daniel Wilhelms, the German, will start in 30th place. Last but not least, Kevin Bellich, car number 20, without a lap being set. As we go back into the formation lap, I think we can go for a little view at the track, as we just surpassed the first couple of corners. As we go into turn 3 and 4, and then into Sandbroom. No, I'm absolutely butchering this pronunciation because I'm kind of saying it in very northern Italian accent, and yeah, apologies to the Frenchmen watching the live stream. Into Le Col, that's turn 7, and then into the Mistral Straight, more than 2 kilometers long, to then get into Sainz, turn 8, but it's a very long way to get there. And I'm not joking, it's a very long way. I could really make myself some coffee, come back, and I'm probably still waiting for them. I think I can also put the position delta. Yeah, okay, it certainly helps to have a better look at everything. Obviously, if you don't want one of the tower settings, just let me know, because at the moment the manufacturer, nation, and position delta will rotate, as you can clearly see now, on the tower on the left automatically. But if you all don't want to see something in particular, just let me know. All the blank spaces are for the Mustangs, and you can see the good popularity of this car, especially in this track, considering how long it is. And now, as I said, into Sainz, turn 8, after roughly 14 hours into the Mistral Straight, and then into Bossot, the double right-hander, which is a single number. For some reasons, it's not two different corners, it's a single one. Although I'm not really on the same page here. Usually made in second to third gear to get a better traction on exit. Very wide on the left hand side, because then you go all the way to the right to get a better exit out of Bendor, turn 10, which changes its angular rotation midway through it. Then into village, which is flat out right-hander over the curb to then get into La Torre and virage to Pont. 12 and 13. But you can already see the leader going in double file with Eric Del Fante alongside Philip Minar behind Sam Gaskell that will not have any real clemency on the start. But here we are for Paul Ricard for an entire hour for the championship, and green lights, and away we go. And it's a good start by Caracas, already jumping Chris Hartwell in 6th, and Eric Del Fante takes the lead onto the outside. Can he stick onto it? He goes on the outside. He remains there because then it's an inside line into turn number 2. There is a slight contact between the two cars, but the Ferrari now is back into the lead. Luke Whitehead leads the French GP with the Honda on the very front of Philippe Minard, and Caracas with Sam Gaskell making some contacts as Sam Gaskell lost for a brief period of time the position on Caracas, who went on a lunge into the outside on the Mustang driver, but Sam Gaskell remains where he is. He loses some time from Philippe Minard. Oh, that's the wrong camera, unfortunately, because the Mustang has a different set of cameras. It doesn't really help my situation. And Caracas is very much on the slipstream. Little bit of bump draft for the British driver. Side by side for the two Ferraris, the Jonathan Riley and Chris Hartwell, the teammates for Scuderia Ferrari HP, as Luke Whitehead still leads the pack. Eric Del Fante is just behind with Philippe Minard in 3rd place, Sam Gaskell behind, then Jonathan Riley and Castorino switching places as the Italian goes in front of Riley. That's 7th place for the Nissan driver, and also Sasha Wasner is very interested in this position, although he sits on the outside, so it makes it quite difficult for Wasner to get into Riley's position. He stays behind, although with some contacts being made in the process. Meanwhile, the two 255 competitions are currently 3rd and 4th, although I suspect that there could be some help from his teammates just ahead. There is a car off, the number 16 currently out in turn 12, as we have our first timed lap. It's a very slow one, but it's completely useless to count the fast lap now. All the way to the outside, and Luke Whitehead leads the first lap as Eric Del Fante follows 6 times behind, and Minard is there in 3rd. Many overtakes currently happening as Amedeo Casino still leads in front of Riley in 7th place in the Ferrari sandwich. But it's top 10, top 11 actually, because Shea O'Sullivan is effectively the tail end of this whole pack, with some 100 meters gapping O'Sullivan to 4th. Now into the Mistral, this means straight line speed will be enormous here for the cars behind someone else. As you can see already on the background, that was Shea O'Sullivan trying to get the overtake done on Michael Frey, but I think the two are going side by side. That's O'Sullivan and Michael Frey. Can the Nissan get the overtake done on Frey? On the outside he goes. That's a track limit violation. That will be counted. They just have 3 of them, and he stays behind. Then he goes for the cutback into the inside line, into turn 9, and the GT3 for now remains in 11th place. Number 8 can't get the overtake done on Frey, as the Swiss driver keeps 10th place. But by doing so, they both lost a bunch of time on Sasha Wasner, who now sits more than a second in front. There's a Nissan trying an impossible move on outside and losing a lot of time on the Swissman, who in the Porsche still keeps 10th place. Luke Whitehead is currently the quickest car on the track, 52.3. Reminder that the qualifying lap was a 51.6. 1 hour to go, 2 laps made so far. The two Mustangs are still one after the other. as we get our wing camera on, and Minar is not really losing much time. You can see Eric Del Fante is there, keeping the pressure alive. This whole field, and then Hartveld gaps Caracas, although it's rather, it's better to say Caracas gaps Hartveld, as the Ferrari doesn't have the slipstream anymore. You can see the other Ferrari, the number 4, quite ahead, and this will be detrimental for his straight line speed, as Amedeo Castorino is in the slipstream. Can he make the overtake before turn 8? Oh, some bump draft there, but in a controlled manner. As O'Sullivan gets a position down on Frey, you can see behind, that's a Nissan GT3 in 10th place now in front of Michael Frey, as the Swissman is now in 11th place. Just ahead is not over yet, as Riley was about to get overtaken there, and Eric Fante lost the position for a brief moment, but still sits on the inside line, as Minar remains on the outside. I suspect a very late maneuver because the gap wasn't that large early on, but side by side into turn 12 and then into 14. The Mustang remains where he is, into second place, tries to get the better line with Honda going extremely out of bounds. And Sam Gaskell helps his teammate with some bump draft in action. The Honda can't really do anything. He loses 1 position, he loses 2 positions. And the Italian has to settle for 4th place, as both 255 competitions race cars get 2nd and 3rd. 2.3 seconds behind Whitehead. But it's not over. You can see behind, action still sparkles, as the number 6 is already on the defensive line on Caracas, as the whole field is now back in extreme proximity. Now Gaskell already half a second in front. Seems like the Honda is struggling a tiny bit in this very beginning of the race. As there is some action behind, you can see Jonathan Riley and Sasha Fasner going for the overtake on Amedeo Castorino, current leader in the championship. He needs to be less than 4th for Gaskell to even have a chance into winning the championship. As Riley is now in 7th place, Sam Gaskell is in 3rd, and Castorino is in 8th. With Nissan struggling a tiny bit in 8th place. The number 2 still leads the field in a controlled manner. As all the cars practically glued together. It seemed like a NASCAR race for a brief moment with that camera and that sound. As Ramuna gets overtake done on Zenovovic after the Fisher Racing esports driver went extremely wide into turn 2. As he cut the chicane and lost the place because of that. You can see the pack of cars simply fading there into the distance, and then a Ferrari is simply going on itself. That's the leading car. So Whitehead really flying away into the distance early on. Philippe Minard sets some distance between himself and Gaskell, putting Del Fante on an attacking phase, but Sasha Fasner is just behind both Castorino and Riley. This could be the chance for both drivers to make a move into position up, but they both chose to not to do so. And Vasner for now remains in 9th place. As Moorhouse just took the place on Alexander Koruk, and Guillot just went extremely wide, but that's Koruk still trying the position. Nothing happens there, as the Ferrari number 28 remains in 19th place in front of Korok, number 15. But also behind Herpel in the Ford Mustang. As Philippe Minard is currently the quickest race car in the field, 52.255 compared to 52.6 in the last lap for the leader, Luke Whitehead. There's Aston Martin here, that's Guillot going on the inside on Karuk. Side by side, some contact between the Aston Martin and the Ferrari driver, extremely wide on the exit phase. That's Aston Martin taking the position for BF Racing, now in 20th place in the car number 30. So we are back into the Mistral Straight. As Minard is actually closing the gap on Whitehead and bringing Sam Gaskell with him. You can see the gap is now 1.8 seconds. It was 2.5 early on. Last time around it was 52.1 for Gaskell. So new fastest lap of the race so far. Only half a second behind the quickest lap being made in qualifying, which was a 51.6. As Castellino in the number 3 set a 52.4. Riley 52.4, same with Sasha Wagner behind, then Chris Harper put a 52.3, 52.2 for Caracas, 52.2 for Delfante, 2.1 for Gaskell, 2.2 for Minard, 2.3 for Whitehead. So at the moment, the fastest car is in third. The Bentley is about to overtake the Italian driver, maybe not because he actually chooses the bump draft action, and 10 bit behind Samir Forsh gets a position down Sullivan, and that was Axel Ramone and Michael Frey switching positions. So the Ferrari is now in 12th place, and number 10, the Mustang, is now ahead of Shea O'Sullivan in car number 8. These two are rapidly closing the gap with Whitehead. This could become a battle for the lead in the coming minutes. Here in 22nd place, Koruk is now battling with Silverio in the Bentley, although I think the Bentley just gained the place. So that is Silverio in 21st place. It's not over yet, you can see here. With these two battling, these are Fabian Guillot and Dustin Harpel, with Aston remaining behind for a brief moment, as the Aston gets the outside line and takes the position. Number 19, the Frenchman is now inside the top 20 even more. And the car number 30 now is 1.3 seconds behind Moorhouse. As a 15-second penalty has been issued for the car number 28, and a 5-second penalty has been issued to the car number 22. So 28 now sitting in 18th place as a 15 seconds penalty. And Casolino is still battling with both Wasner and Riley in front, but this field is getting tight. Because now Whitehead is just 1.3 seconds in front of Minar compared to the 2.3. And you can see eventually making some contact with the Nismo GT3, with the Nissan R35. As the Bentley Continental GT3 is currently sitting in 9th place. Last lap around. Let's have a look. It was a 52.5 for Whitehead, 2.2 for Minar, and 2.3 for Gaskell. Then Delfante lost a tremendous amount of time in this very lap, 2.6 compared to 2.3 for Caracas. Then we get into 2.4, 2.5, 2.6. Laps going slower the further down we go. So these two are effectively working in tandem to get themselves a better position, because Gaskell is really using Minar's slipstream to get as close as possible, although I think Minar has some better pace compared to the teammate. Oh, that Honda was way outside the limits. That's possibly another track limit violation in our field. Caracas is extremely close to Delfante. The Italian may be in struggles at the moment, raising the gap to 1.8 seconds in less than a full lap, as the car 21 has a 5 seconds penalty. That's the car in 29th place, Jordan Cametti, having another 5 second penalty for an incident early on. We'll try to put them in replay as soon as I've got a moment. Though I'm very frightened into going into replay mode. Casolino is very close to Riley this time around. It's a very tight race, this one here. The Mistral straight is really helping the situation for the whole field to get close and to stay close. 2.4 for Whitehead, 2.3 for Minar, 2.2 for Gaskell, and Delfante 2.7. Same as Caracas, but this just helps all the drivers behind, who are now sitting less than half a second behind Caracas. That's what Hartfeld is. The moment the Dutch driver sits very close to this duo, although Delfante remains ahead of Caracas. Again, another off track. I don't know how many he still has available to be used. It's free and then it's a drive-through. Caracas extremely close, and this whole pack is now extremely close. Delfante, Caracas, Hartfeld, Riley, Castellino and Wasner, as Matteo Piccolo is now in 15th place, gaining the position on Anders Amundsen, and same goes for Fabian Guillot in front of Johnny Moorhouse. Aston Martin gains another place, 18th place for them, and Matteo Piccolo, as I said, in the McLaren number 13 is now sitting in 15th place in front of Anders Amundsen. It gets slightly difficult to get into other fights because this one called Sparkle. That was very close between Castellino and Wasner. For a moment I thought there was a contact between the two cars which would have ended in tragedy. Look at it, look at that gap. Look at that gap. I don't even have to tell you that the 2255 competitions, Mustang, GT3, closing the gap to Whitehead, and the Panther is bleeding time. 2.9 in the last lap for the Honda driver. Now into the Mistral, and this become the moment of change, although they are all quite gapped to each other. Between is now open, they can now go into the pits, although this is not over for Caracas and Delfante, with Caracas getting the inside line, and this is the time where there is a possible move into 4th place. Delfante is still sitting on the outside, which then becomes the inside line. Both cars out of the racing line, but creating a little wall for Hartfeld, which can't really move neither forward nor backwards. He just has to stay there and to remain focused on the action and use every possible moment available, and that number 4 into 4th place. Caracas in front of Delfante as the Italian still holds the grip into 5th place as the Bentley goes into the pits, possibly thinking about an undercut, thinking that they can move forward by avoiding this whole battle, and theoretically it's a better idea, because these are simply slowing themselves down. 53.4 in the last reading for Delfante, without even talking about all the cars behind, because for obvious reasons they really didn't go much quicker. The fight ahead is also ongoing, and Castellino is, as it stands, not going to win the championship this evening. Rather, he is about to lose a massive amount of points. Now back into Delfante's rear wing. Seems like he gained a buffer zone with Caracas. Can't say the same to Riley, who is bump drafting his teammate, Chris Hartsfeld. I'm also seeing in front, the gap is very little, all the cars going extremely out of bounds, and Honda going possibly sideways into turn 9. Back on the same script, back on the 6 on the outside. 4 still sits on the inner line, which then becomes the outside line, and that was the Ferrari trying to get a move on Caracas, who goes for the cutback on the Honda driver. Can the number 4 gain the place on number 6, or will they stay on the very same situation as now, as Bielik gains the place number 21 on Kuruk? These drivers are slowing themselves down massively as Riley was about to make contact with someone else. As there is a car off, that's Moorhouse off. That's Moorhouse off. The car number 28. We'll see the replay just after this fight is over. As Amedeo Castellino is going on the inside line on Jonathan Riley in that 7th place for the Italian driver, who goes way too wide. Can he remain in 7th place? He does so with some struggles, but he remains in that very position. Although, not sure for how much this will remain like this. But Riley, as it stands, sits in 9th place. As we are now on the front of the field, because look at this, Whitehead, Minar, Gaskell, 9 attempts, separating the 3. Going into a 3 wide, there was an idea clearly. It was extremely dangerous, that's for certain. The number 2 remains on the lead, but it's clearly struggling to remain in 1st place. They have 4.6 seconds of gap. So the car behind, which is Eric Delfante, still maintaining 4th place, with a big question mark where the Bentley is at the moment. Where is the German driver? He currently sits in 29th place, but he went in the pits as early as physically possible. As Hartfeld chooses the undercut. He goes into the pits. I think Wiener will jump the slipstream ship as soon as possible. Last lap, 2.8 for Whitehead, 2.7 for Minard, 2.7 for Gaskell, 3.0 for Delfante, 3.0 for Caricas, 2.8 for Castorino, 3.3 for Riley, and A for all the others since they went into the pits. Look at this, look at this. From the Ferrari wing, the Mustang goes on the right of the screen, which is the left-hand side of the racetrack. Changes idea, goes back into the slipstream. As his teammate is also very, very nervous. They have to make a move. Because the pit stop is not far away. Because also Sullivan is battling with Ramonet into turn 9. There you go. Taking the same positions. But as it stands, these two main out compared to Caracas, who actually jumps into the pit lane at 50 km per hour and goes away from the fight. As Minard and Gaskell are both in second and third, this gives me a little opportunity to get back into the earlier incident. Which happened to the car number 25. This was early on. I think it's just some bump draft here. So yeah, I thought it was something more. And this was the incident which probably saw the 21 gaining a penalty. See the Mustang here, Jordan Cametti on the Ford Mustang. As the Ferrari goes wide, I think there is going to be a contact. Look at that! It was close, but it was not really penalty worthy. So it was supposedly early on. So all the drivers are now going, well, all the drivers for 255 competitions are now going into the pits. With Matteo Piccolo just behind Michael Frey. In currently 8th place, but for obvious reasons, that's just a provisional one. But back behind, you will not believe this. Well, actually, it was also pretty expected. But have a look at this. Oh, right. The Bentley. That's Sasha Wasner. The car number 7 jumped everyone. and currently sits a second point 3 in front of Caracas and a second point 8 in front of Hartfeld. As eventually jumped everyone in the pits by going in early on. And this is possibly the change of position between McAlfrey and Matteo Piccolo, with a McLaren driver going on the left-hand side of the racetrack and overtaking the Porsche on the Mistral Straight. Ahead 5 point... Ooh, that's a lot of... No, it doesn't. He doesn't go off the racing limits. I thought so, but he actually doesn't. Remains where he is. Casorino is now back on track, and this is important. This is very important because now Filipina and Sam Gaskell are both behind the Nissan driver who went in the pits early on but didn't change tires. He didn't change tires. He is now struggling. Look at this. Filipina, thanks to Sam Gaskell, both get a position down on the Nissan driver who tries everything in his possess to at least remain in contention, but there's little to do. There is very little to do here. Castorino chose to not to change tires. I'm not really sure how helpful that can be. He currently sits in 4th place. I think the idea is to get as far as possible from the battles and simply push on. The main problem is that I don't think there are many battles ongoing except this one. And even so, it's right behind. As we just crossed the halfway mark, and Whitehead is back in the lead as Delfante is now behind everyone else. Ooh, massive bleed of positions for Delfante, who, like a waterfall, went from the top to the very bottom part of the hill, just in front of Hartwell and Raleigh. As Whitehead kept the position number 1 in front of both Minar and Gaskell. Castorino is now in 4th effectively. A reminder, Gaskell requires Castorino to not to finish better than 4th and to win. So he currently isn't in that position. He still has his own teammate in front, and Luke Whitehead, who at the moment didn't lose the position so far. As Delfante took an interesting line, and that is Hartwell in front of Caracas. Can he make the position number 13, which effectively is the number 6, and the car number 25? Nearly by surprise, but I think it's actually thanks to the better tires. Overtakes the Visceral Esports Ferrari number 4, and that's Caracas just in front of Delfante, who nearly sits at the very bottom of this whole chain of cars. And also reminded that among all of them, only one chose to not change tires. Currently leader in the championship. Last time around, it was a 2.3 for Minard, 2.3 for Gaskell, 3.6 for Castorino, 3.0 for Wasner, 3.0 for Ardveld, 3.7 for Caracas, and A for both Delfante and Raleigh. As Matteo Piccolo is barely in front of Dean Janabovic. As the Bentley is exceptionally close to driver number 13. The Frenchman sits just behind Michael Frey, who early on was behind He got overtaken in the pits. But we have to go here again because Caracas is not over with it. And he is going to make the overtake in an impossible place into turn 8 and then into 9. Contact between the two cars as the visceral Ferrari number 4 still sits in the inside line into the double right-hander. Door-to-door action. And Delfante is actually about to make the change into 9th, physically 9th place. He doesn't do so. And all 4 remain now behind Castorino because he lost the position on Wasner as Philip Minar just went quicker than anybody else. Fastest race lap at the moment as Gaskell answered back with a 52.085, simply and only 5 milliseconds better as the Honda goes for a dive and both cars make contact with each other as Jonathan Riley has a VIP spot into this battle as Michael Frey lost a position on Matteo Piccolo. In 13th place. As we can have a look at what happened here early on. Because look at the Bentley that was behind the Nissan driver. The whole Mistral Straight, the Bentley took all the time available. Because it wasn't made there. So now Castellino is also behind Hartveld. You can see here again the contact that has happened between number 4 and the Ferrari driver, which was a side-by-side between the two. So Matteo Castellino is currently in 6th place, just behind Hartveld and Wasner, with the fight that still goes on for 1st place. But this time Duke Whitehead is in great struggle compared to the two behind. 2.3 was the last lap, 2.1 for Minar, 2.0 for Gaskell, and fastest lap of the race so far. Obviously Gaskell will help his teammate to possibly get into a better placement. Nothing happens here, but you saw on the background something that may happen here as Caracas and Delfante just switched positions for a brief moment, and both of them went in front of Castorino, who now lost another place. Look at this complete disaster for the Italian that chose to not change tires and now finds himself very much behind. Have a better look at what happened from the very start of the action. So both Castorino and Caracas started the fight. With Ricard Fante also helping Ferrari driver. And Nissan going all the way to the right hand side of the racetrack as Fante effectively didn't lose the place. He just gained one. Apologies, but if he was losing the position with Caracas. But it's now Castorino in 9th place. So disaster strategy at the moment for the Italian, who chose to not change tires and now finds himself going extremely slow compared to the rest of the field. 10 seconds, apologies, penalty on Michael Frey in the car number 11, 13th place at the moment. As I'm seeing here an accident, which clearly is the reason for that. Meanwhile here there is still a battle between Caracas and Elefante going on, as the Italian remains behind for the Italian job. Visceral race car. And also Wasner and R11 are battling for 4th place. Meanwhile, at the very top of the field, still no change. But Wasner jumped the entirety of the field. Look at these 6 places gained from the qualifying position by pitting 5 minutes or so before the whole field. And number 7 sits at the very top of this train. So Caracas and Elefante are also battling, but by doing so they are obviously losing some time to the car ahead. Which makes the fight for 4th effectively a 5-way battle, but these two in 6th and 7th, they have to cooperate, and I'm not really sure they will do it. Look at this already. Caracas weaving massively. Fante will not be happy with the behavior. In fact, he does weave 2 times, but the Honda will get the upper hand. And for now, Caracas loses the place. There is also Hartwell, which gains the place on the Bentley driver. And Elefante is now in 6th place. Hartwell is now in 4th. So double overtake. They just went through for 4th place. I think I just have a little moment to show you the reason on why the number 11 has been penalized. This is the replay for it. Theoretically. Yeah, he's about to make the overtake on the McLaren. Oh, spin! And the McLaren is off. So yeah, that is what happened early on. Matter of fact, the McLaren is now in 19th place, number 13, and this is Amedeo Castorino, apologies, battling with Axel Ramone for 9th place. Changing tires hasn't been profitable for the Italian driver leading the championship, but I'm not really sure that the buffer zone will be enough for the last round. Everything could be shuffled, and it's still not over as Guido gets in front of Vella. But we will stay here because the leader in the championship, currently in 9th place, number 3, is about to get the overtake done there. Meanwhile, Sam Gaskel. I think there was a switch of places between Gaskel and Minar. I saw Minar slowing down, so clearly team order there, as Ramone and Castorino now in 9th and 10th place, and Amundsen and Zunabovic changed places. So Minar and Gaskell chose to switch position, matter of fact 52.7, so clearly a team order. I don't really have to show you the replay, that was pretty obvious. Sam Gaskell needs as many points as possible. As the night is coming in Le Castle, you can see from the lights starting to appear, and there was a yellow flag. Oh, that's the number 22. That's the number 22 off. 27, apologies. Quick replay to see what happened to the Bentley driver, Miguel Silverio, before we get into... Oh, there was a contact. Yeah, it's pretty obvious the reason there, as the 27 lost the place. The contact. So back into the fights, as Eric Delfante and Sacha Wagner are going to change places. And that's Delfante just in front of Wagner in the Bentley driver, although he's not over with it. He goes on the inside line. It's the 9. He doesn't have enough grip on the tires. Maybe pitting that early may have ruined a bit the pace for Wagner. There's also Caracas, so that was extremely wide for the Bentley driver. Oh, the Ferrari's off! What's happening? Hamilton is off! He's gone! That's it! What has happened? I have no idea. And I can't even see in the replay because the car is not in the race anymore. It simply went into the pits all of a sudden. As O'Sullivan makes the overtake on Castorino. Nissan on Nissan action. And that is Shea O'Sullivan for British Rally Sports taking the position on the Italian driver. Now in 11th place. As we have to go into the lead because here it is! Sam Gaskell, Luke Whitehead battling for the lead of the race. Side draft for the Mustang driver with the Ferrari on the inside line with the second place holder in the championship. Sam Gaskell for 2-5 competitions still behind Luke Whitehead. As also Caracas and Riley are both in front of Wagner as the Bentley is losing positions. As the time goes through, we will see the replay later on of the overtake. For now, we have to stay here. There isn't a change of positions, so possibly I just have enough time to get to the replay. So look at the Bentley losing the position on both race cars. As Ferrari gets also some help from behind. That was Jonathan Riley for Ferrari, Scuderia Ferrari HP, getting the position done. O'Reilly using some bump draft action. And now Luke Whitehead for the other Scuderia Ferrari HP, now down to 2 cars from 3 early on. Oh, it was a drive-thru for the car number 25. That is why. So the car number 25 simply drove off into the distance because of a drive-thru for, I suspect, exceeding track limits. With Minar just behind Gaskell, some contact with the bump draft. You can see the speed difference into 8 and then into 9 as Minar went very, very wide. So that was a drive-through for exceeding track limits for the number 25. I'm really sorry that I didn't see chat early on. I was just focused on the battle. Last lap around it was a 2.695 for Whitehead, a 2.5 for Gaskell, a 2.5 for Minar, a 2.4 for Delfante. Gaskell very, very close, and about to analyze the exact diffuser serial number from Whitehead's car, just to go for a little scrutiny before the race is over. Maybe there was something illegal on the wing, and he went roughly 20 centimeters away from the rear deck of the 296 up ahead. But now into the Mistral straight, 10 minutes to go, roughly 5 laps till the end, and Castorino is in 11th, and Gaskell is in 2nd. Huge championship implications here. Slight lift and coast here for Gaskell. And again, a wide exit for both Gaskell and Whitehead. They can get very close to the drive-through, which put effectively out of the way Hartveld in the car number 25. A reminder, drive-through for exceeding track limits for the car number 25. Which is effectively a DNF after having it. As we are now closing another lap, it was a 2.6 for Whitehead, 2.7 for Gaskell, and 2.6 for Minar. And this freeway battle is one of the battles on track, because there is also the battle for 5th at the moment. Carcass and Riley still aren't over with it, and the tire wear apparently made a huge difference, because Casorino chose to not change tires and he now finds himself in 11th. Wasner chose to go in the pits very early, and now he finds himself 2.3 seconds behind Riley, with Ramone getting very close. And these three went in the pits very late and are simply gapping the entire field. Can Gaskell make it this time around? And again, very close, but not enough to make a pass. So all three remained inside the white lines. As Michael Frey, reminder, Michael Frey is currently in 12th, but he is with a 10-second time penalty. There's also a penalty for the car number 12. Dejan Zunabovic had a contact with another car. 5 seconds will be added to their time, and also 10 seconds. Oh, there is a launch into the inside, into the final corner, and Sam Gaskell is into the lead, with Luke Whitehead getting practically launched away from the racetrack, and now it's a free-wide action into turn 1, with Whitehead which will be extremely angry about this. Literally getting launched away from the racing line with a very late dive into the inside. Way too exaggerated, way too late. And that will also have put some damage on the race car, which is going in second place and becoming very aggressive with 5 minutes to go. Minar is not an issue, obviously, because they are playing the team game. Whitehead is as defensive as it gets. Gaskell obviously is not really thinking about where Castellino is at the moment. He simply wants to win, to be safe, and to be sure. But it's not by doing this that he will achieve P1, because the penalty may also be in... Ooh, Riley just went in front of Caracas. Look at this, Caracas lost the place on Riley. Or maybe not, as the two are side by side into 9, and Caracas maintained the position on the outside, although little contact between the two cars, as Visceral Esport number 4 and Jonathan Riley number 18 currently sitting in 6th. They were switching places, and Caracas maintained the position on the outside. It was a very nice maneuver for the number 4, who still is in 5th place. I honestly want to see the dive again. Maybe because, as I was saying, a penalty can be delivered to the car currently in 2nd place. Although a 5-second penalty would be just a loss of 1 place. And even then, Philip Minard is just behind. Side out. Minard wouldn't simply back off by 5 seconds. To number 1. The last lap set a 3.1, but I'm pretty sure the last lap was pretty much an impossible to evaluate kind of lap. And it's not over. Look at this. The Ferrari could lose the position now with Gaskell as close as he gets. Can he make the move? The Ferrari goes back on the racing line because there is not enough space. Oh, he loses the rear. He goes off into the outside line. As Whitehead lost some rear grip on his Ferrari 296 GT3. But somehow remained on top of the field. Gaskell tried to put the nose in a very narrow entrance. But the Mustang can't really be better in agility compared to the Ferrari 296, which is quite honestly one of the best, if not the best, car in the agility and in the maneuverability. Again, look at this with the Mustang trying to get into the inside line, into turn 1 and then into 2. He is back where he sat for the last effectively 15 minutes, because the change. Oh, he goes in the inside again! Major contact between the two cars, door by door, side by side, and Minard takes the position with Whitehead, who goes for the cutback. He's not getting it, he's not stopping for it. Whitehead will surely want the top 1st place back in his hands. A lot of contacts between Whitehead and Gaskell, as now Minard is in the lead of the field. With the Ferrari now going on the right side of the screen. As we go on the external camera, we can see the Ferrari taking back P1 with Philip Minard in 2nd place, Sam Gaskell in 3rd. After a major contact between the two cars again on the inside, it was Sam Gaskell, and again it was Whitehead completing the whole situation back in 1st place. Can he remain for the last effectively 1.5 laps, not even 2 laps, in the very lead of the race? Minard now sits in 2nd. Back where he started from, in the very early stages of the race. Ricard started in 3rd, now sitting in 2nd. as Gaskell sat in 4th at the end of qualifying. He is now in 3rd, back in 3rd, as the very early stages. Whitehead takes the white flag. He never lost P1 in an entire lap. Will he do at the very last one? He still leads into turn 1. He still leads into turn 2. As the Ferrari doors are practically crunched, as if they were aluminum foil for Gaskell's maneuvers. First into a right-hand side and then into, again actually a right-hand side, so it's actually just the right part of the Ferrari that is crunched. This is some damage which will ruin the top speed for the Ferrari driver, although Gaskell probably has some front-end damage too. And look at this, Minar sits just behind and then goes to the left part of the Ferrari on the outside line, and that is Sam Gaskell going as outside as he gets. Both, or rather, all three of them over the curb, just on the edge of the racetrack. We look Whitehead taking a track limit violation, but I think he still has the very lead without a drive-through. Now they get both into turn 9, and then 10. With Whitehead still ahead, Minard still follows, Gaskell still in 3rd, although he needs as many points as possible to keep the championship alive. As Zonobovic is showing yellow flags, we'll see the incident later on because he's sitting at the very end of the Mistral Straight. But Jock Whitehead will complete the race, all the 60 minutes in front, and he will win the French GP in the low fuel motorsport in the King.D Pro Series. And Philippe Minard is in 2nd and Sam Gaskell in 3rd. Eric Delfante follows in 4th. Grantas Caracas finishes in 5th with Jonathan Riley and Axel Ramonet in 7th. Sasha Fatner is in 8th with Samir Foch in 9th place. Shea O'Sullivan in 10th place. And only 11th. Only 11th for Castorino. Samuelsen is in 12th place. Michael Frey sits in 13th. Kevin Berish in 14th. Fabien Guillot in 15th place, Matteo Piccolo in 16th, 17th for Dean Vell, although there are some penalties that will be applied later on. Zonobovic is in 18th place, with Harpel in 19th, with Van Rossem in 20th place, Karuk in 21st, Winkler in 22nd, Cametti in 23rd, with Michael Siverio and Humer in 24th and 25th place, Artem Hagman 26th, Williams 27th, Omar Escorcha in 28th, and Alex Franganillo in 29th place. That was a lot of action. That was a lot of action. Have a look at what happened. Sam Gaskell has been applied a 5-second penalty, so he was 3rd no matter the result. Look at this, for this action, going on the inside as quickly as possible. Maybe a bit too quick, as Frey has been given a 10-second penalty, so he will end in 16th at the end. Belic, 15-second penalty, will get 17th. Zonobovic, 5-second penalty, will get 20th. And Kuruk will get 10-second penalty. He will finish in 23rd. Drive-through for both Hartveld and Moorhouse, who never completed the race. Then it was some yellow flag for, I think it was the car number. I just want to see, because there was a not yellow flag being showed here. So this is the incident that happened early on between Dean Zonobovic. I think I know what happened. Yeah, oh, bump draft going extremely wrong and eventually getting sent into the barriers. But also, look at this, because this is also the incident that happened early on. I have a better view from the helicam. These are the 5 seconds penalty being applied to Gaskell's name. Throwing the car into the inside, making contact with the Ferrari, who had to take evasive action. as we get into the results. And also we have our top 3 in the interview room, as this is still not. Just let me get this dated yet. Please update. Okay, we will not have an update, I guess. So we will start with our 3rd place finisher, and then all the way up to Luke Whitehead. So welcome, Sam, to the interview room. And as you can hear from my lack of air to breathe, I enjoyed it. If I have to say, I enjoyed it. That was a lot of action at the very tail end of the race, and it honestly, I think it was a bit too risky of a move both times. But what are your words on the action that just happened?
But when you see the guy you're racing for in the championship, you know, so far down because of, I mean, he tried to slow me down when me and Philip were going to undercut to try and get him ahead of Luke, and yeah, it worked out perfectly for Luke, and he didn't switch tyres, as Amadeo of course, and yeah, I mean the whole last 30 minutes of the race, just me and Philip trying to get past the Ferrari, which this race, after a lot of tracks, doesn't have great top speed, but this track it does, and actually it actually was a very hard challenge for the Ford, and yeah, I just had to send those moves, otherwise, you know, that's what you have to do to win a championship, and yeah.
Yeah, I have a good news for you, because Castorino in the Caravan 3 actually ended in 11th place. So
yeah, I saw that.
I think you still are in contention. It's still not over in that regard, but you really have to basically make a perfect race in the final round, and those would be 90 minutes of fire, because if these weren't for the effective championship, and this was the action, I think we'll see a great show in the very final round.
Yeah.
So yeah, congratulations for P3, and I hope for the best in the very stage finale for the championship.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
There we go with Philip Minar. In 2nd place. Welcome in the commentary booth, and that was a very intriguing race, to say the least. And I noticed you played the team game with your teammates, and did it work? Hello? Okay, now it works. Yeah, I moved you up here. Yeah. Okay, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, can you?
Okay. So, as I was saying, you played the team game in a great way with your teammate, but it still didn't work out perfectly. How was the race for you?
Yeah, well, we went into the race. We already knew, you know, it's going to be pretty hard getting past the Ferrari, which is really ironic considering we're in a Ford. So, and also we knew, obviously the championship was pretty tight. So, I would have benefited so much even if I was 2nd, 3rd, 4th, you know, in that race now. So I kind of just put Sam ahead of me and just let him cook. And yeah, the racing was a bit interesting. But you know, it's all or nothing. Like I thought, Sam, it's all or nothing. You know, you've got to send it. You know, stakes are high. So, but yeah, interesting 2nd stint as well with Amadeo, which is yeah, a bit shocking in my opinion. But you know, it's racing, I guess. So yeah. It was an interesting race.
I think you did all that was available. Then the 5-second penalty arrived, and physically nothing could have been done at that point. And in the finale, I still think there is a slim chance for your team to take the championship. Maybe because I still don't have the refresh results, but it took 3rd. and 300 points still remain. So I think actually maybe Castorino too. I just have to get the confirmation, but I think this was an interesting race. You did your part perfectly in that regard, and you also nearly took the win of the winner of the race at the very final lap. How was it?
Yeah, oh my word. When that happened, when that incident happened in the sharp right, I absolutely just locked in. My brain went into instinct mode. I just went for the win, you know. So I think everyone would have done the same thing in that position, but yeah, I just can't do anything about that Ferrari top end. It's literally like we couldn't go low on the wing for that race. I think we were like 6 or 5 wing, and Ford is pretty bad on tires, so yeah, we just had to go high wing and just swallow the pole, I guess, and worked out. We had some good pace, but yeah, that last lap was rough, but intense.
It was interesting. I think the correct word is interesting, but I think you will also have a good look from the outside cameras, because the commentary was practically at the final 20 minutes. It was just there. I didn't move from the top 3 in that moment. So yeah, great race, great P2, and well, I will look forward for your final race next week.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers.
Cheers. Then we go with the winner in the race. Hello, Luke. Hello in the commentary booth. And I think you have some scars on your cars, on your car, but hey, you won, so everything is okay.
Yeah, well, first off, hello everyone, ciao, hello, wherever you're from. Yeah, it was certainly something, wasn't it? I'm sure it was probably more fun watching than it was participating, that's for sure. Definitely had my heart rate up a bit, but yeah, P1 with a few dents in the door is always the best way to do it, especially when they're not inflicted by you, so yeah, battle scarred, but yeah, couldn't be happy with the results, to be honest. Absolutely made up.
You defended the whole position in a masterful way, and also when the action went very bad towards your side, you still took advantage of the racetrack because it's a parking lot, and managed to get away with it. So how intense was the moment when effectively you saw 2 Mustangs going into your sides and trying everything possible to get your position?
Yeah, well, it was definitely a peak of tensity. I think the whole race as a whole was tense because, you know, as soon as I had those 2 behind me, I know how quick the Mustang is. I mean, it's been Mustang and Nissan that have won every race this season. So I know how fast they are. And obviously I know their teammates, and I know that Sam's got a championship to win. So I know that they do absolutely anything to make sure that Sam won. Maybe not to the extent that I kind of experienced, but I kind of knew it was going to happen anyway. It always does get messy in, you know, the championship decider. And, you know, I was just in the middle of it, and I wanted to win. You know, I've got no stake in the championship at all, but I want to win. And so obviously I'm going to put up as much of a fight as I can. And yeah, as I say, like, we had a few hairy moments, and, you know, thank goodness the runoff is so large at this track. You know, you can make the most of the room that you have to save the car. And yeah, we came out ahead in every scenario. You know, played our cards perfectly, did everything perfect, made no mistakes, and it was the other guys that tripped up and we came out on top. So yeah, very, very happy.
So yeah, that was a nice race, and only one to go. So I think your Ferrari will be pleased to see that this race is over, but not the championship. So still one to go, and I hope for less contacts in the next one, but maybe you enjoy them.
There's less at stake next race, so we'll see. But yeah, never guaranteed. But yeah, thanks to everyone who was watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I certainly did.
I do. So yeah, thank you, Luke, and
ciao.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. And now we are, as the confirmation arrived, with a championship winner. Congratulations, you did it!
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, everyone.
So we have here Amedeo Castorino for Veloce Taskmasters. And although 11th, I honestly thought it wasn't enough, but I got confirmation that it was enough even if your opponent was in 3rd. And, well, your race wasn't as great compared to the first half of the race. Because in the second half, you were one of the only cars that didn't change tires, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
and you arrived at 11th. So not a great result compared to where you started from, but who cares? You won the championship, so that's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah, also I didn't change the title, like it's not the ideal strategy, but since like my worst round was already a P4 and for how the race was going, like the maximum that I could do was a P4 because top 3 was gone. Like I didn't change the tires for try to hold up a bit the Ford of Gaskell and Minar, because like the thing was or I finish P3 or Gaskell don't win the race. So since I had no chance to win the race, to finish P3, I tried to help a bit Whitehead to win the race. So I tried to hold up them, but it worked only for one sector because then on the stage they overtook me. But I let them like lose about I think 6-7 tenths. That helped a bit probably Whitehead to stay in front after the pit. And yeah, after that I was just checking the tab every straight basically for see what was ahead, if Whitehead or Gaskell. And because yeah, the last 20 minutes of the race it was just like finishing the race and hope that Gaskell wasn't going to win that race. And yeah, luckily for me Whitehead won, so yeah, I'm checker and yeah, it's good.
I think champagne for tonight is mandatory.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how old you are, to be safe, just not to give any...
No, I'm 21, almost 22.
Ah, okay.
So it's, we can.
You can even invent your age. You can say you are 52 and people will believe.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think they believe, maybe too much, but yeah.
yeah, it's a mood changer. Everything is correct.
Okay.
So, nice race. It was at that point, obviously, it was more like sort of trying to cover as much time as possible to the top 3. So, obviously, you were on a different strategy. But still 1 round to go, and just to ask, will you participate in the very final round, although you already wrapped away the championship, or will you take...
I will take part, like also
Okay.
because it's one of my favorite track. Like I have for now like 100% win rate on Mont Panorama on Pro Series, so I wanna try to take it because I like the track. But yeah, I mean just have fun on the last race and see if we can win. If not, we take it. The championship was already pretty good, so but yeah, I'm happy to participate also on the last round.
Yeah, it's also battles, so
Yeah,
it's mandatory to participate in
exactly.
the Angry Mountain, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
So yeah, congratulations on the championship, and congratulations also to your team, because I think they will be pretty happy about your result.
Yeah, I hope they will be happy about that. So yeah, thank you also for my team for the support to Veloce Toastmaster. And yeah, it's our first year that we are working together, and yeah, it's starting well. So yeah,
It
I think we can
certainly
be happy
started
about
well. It certainly started well. If
Yeah,
if I may. So yeah, congratulations, and have a good evening, or rather, no, okay, good evening.
Yeah,
I
we
still
can
think,
celebrate the evening with the win.
yeah. Okay, I still think you want to celebrate the evening.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, thank you guys, and yeah, have a nice evening. So yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. So that was our championship winner for the Pro Series in LFM, brought to you by Keskin.de. Obviously, thanks to all of our sponsors, thanks to SyncMesh, to Nitro Concept, to ACC Drive, to Go Setups, and to Kesking.de. There are interesting links in chat because you can have some discounts even for Go Setups. There is a 10% discount code going through the Kesking.de with the code GOLFM, or also by clicking the link in chat. In any case, I'm Chris Romano. This was round number 11 of the Pro Series. Still want to go, and it's the Mont Panorama round. 90 minutes of racing in a very tight space, but honestly in the best racetrack that is available as a street circuit in the world, in my opinion. In any case, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you all next time. Bye!